Chapter 9, Victim Olympics. How blame replaced accountability. There's a new game being played in America, one that doesn't require skill, discipline, or determination. You don't need a ball, a playbook, or a strategy. You just need a sad story and an internet connection. It's called the Victim Olympics, and the competition is fierce. In every corner of society, but especially in many inner-city communities, people are racing to prove who's been hurt the most, held back the longest, and disrespected the hardest. It's no longer about survival. It's about attention. It's no longer about healing. It's about headlines. And worst of all, it's no longer about growth.
Pain is real. But so is progress. Real victims exist. There are people who faced police brutality, childhood trauma, generational poverty, and underfunded schools. But for most people reading this, that's not your story. Sure, some people have been molested, abandoned, or incarcerated for no reason. Those stories matter. That pain is valid. But once again, it's probably not you. Many inner-city people whine constantly for crimes that they imagine. You weren't beaten by cops or locked up for no reason. We're tired of hearing people cry about made-up injustices. I'm over 60 years old, and I've never seen a black man called the N-word by a white person. If you grew up in the inner city, went to inner-city schools, and lived in majority black neighborhoods, you haven't either. When there's only one white kid per classroom, he's not throwing around slurs, he's keeping his head down, trying not to get jumped. Imagine a school with 100 black students and 5 white kids. Do you really think Whitey is running the show and putting people in their place? Go to the corner store in the hood. That one white shopper isn't there to start trouble. He's just trying to get out without making eye contact. It's exhausting listening to lies that paint minorities as helpless victims of some invisible, omnipresent racism. It's not true, and deep down, most people know it. But here's the problem. Somewhere along the way, being victimized became a brand, an identity. Instead of rising above pain, people started building their platform on it. And instead of trying to fix problems, they started competing for who had the worst ones. Thus, the Victim Olympics. In the Victim Olympics, nobody wins, but everybody claps for last place. The blame game is the new hustle in today's world. Nothing is anyone's fault anymore. Didn't get the job? Must be racism. Can't pay rent? The system is rigged. Flunked out of school? Teachers didn't care. Got locked up again? The police are targeting. Have 5 kids with 4 different people? Society failed you. Can those things happen? Sure. But are they always the truth? Not even close. Sometimes we're not being targeted, we're just being reckless. Sometimes it's not oppression, it's pure laziness. And sometimes it's not the system in our way, it's us, refusing to grow up, step up, and do better. But blame feels better than shame. Blame feels easier than change. And so the excuses roll in like clockwork. The mindset becomes, everything bad in my life is someone else's fault. That kind of thinking might get you likes and sympathy online, but it won't change your life. Blame is a trap, and the ones who need change the most are often the first to reach for excuses instead of accountability. And excuses build nothing.
When victimhood becomes culture. Victimhood used to be a state of crisis. Now, it's part of the culture. It's the girl who says, "You can't judge me, you don't know what I've been through," every time someone suggests she could do better. It's the young man who says, "The world's against me," instead of learning how to hold a job. It's the grown adult who lashes out, lies, cheats, and then says, "That's just how I was raised." People wear their pain like medals, not to show what they've overcome, but to show why they shouldn't be expected to improve. And the second you challenge that, you're shaming, you're gaslighting, you're lacking compassion. But there's a difference between compassion and coddling. True compassion says, "You've been through a lot, but you can rise." Coddling says, "You've been through a lot, so we'll never expect more from you." One leads to healing. The other leads to helplessness.
How the Victim Olympics hurt the community. We're not just talking about personal stagnation. This victimhood culture is hurting entire communities. Number 1. It divides people. Everyone wants to be the most oppressed. It's not just about the evil white man. People compete over who has the worst story. Black versus brown. Women versus men. Straight versus LGBTQ. Poor versus poorer. People weaponize identity instead of building bridges. And the moment someone suggests shared accountability, they get attacked from all sides. Victimhood isn't just individual, it's become tribal. And the result is division, not unity. Number 2. It kills motivation. If your entire worldview is the system is against me, what's the point of trying? Why apply yourself? Why show up early, study late, or take risks? When victimhood becomes your worldview, effort seems pointless. People settle, or worse, they expect handouts. It's easy to imagine that everyone owes you. Number 3. It justifies failure. Everyone fails, but when your identity is built on being a victim, failure becomes proof of injustice instead of a challenge to overcome. Miss a deadline? Must be your boss's bias. Break up with your partner? Must be their emotional immaturity. Flop your business? The world wasn't ready for your genius. Instead of asking, what did I do wrong? People only ask, who wronged me? That mentality keeps people stuck, not because they're oppressed, but because they're in denial. Number 4. It weakens the culture. Strong cultures overcome pain. They don't drown in it. They build legacies from scars. They use adversity as fuel. But when victimhood becomes sacred, accountability becomes blasphemy. And the result is a culture that celebrates being hurt more than being healed. There's a big difference between a reason and an excuse. A reason is an honest explanation. It owns the truth without trying to run from it. An excuse is a convenient escape. It avoids accountability by shifting blame. A reason says, here's what happened, and here's what I'm doing about it. An excuse says, it's not my fault, so I don't have to fix it. One leads to growth. The other keeps you stuck. Yes, life is hard for many. Yes, some people started 20 steps behind. Those are reasons to be where you are, but not excuses to stay there. Because once your reason becomes your identity, it's no longer a circumstance, it's a cage. And you might live in it for years, dragging your children in with you, teaching them your excuses instead of your effort. Pain is real, but at what point do we say, okay, now what? At what point do we stop nursing wounds and start healing them? Because while pain may not be your fault, your healing is your responsibility.
What needs to change? This isn't just a mindset issue. It's a cultural correction. If we want stronger individuals and better communities, we have to start redefining what struggle means and stop glorifying staying stuck. Here's how. Number 1. Celebrate overcomers, not complainers. We need to make success stories the standard again. Stop shaming people who made it out. Stop calling them sellouts. They didn't forget where they came from, they refused to stay there. They are proof that change is possible. That growth is possible. That rising is possible. We need more of those voices. We need to put them on the pedestal, not the folks who complain the loudest. Number 2. Hold people accountable. Accountability isn't an attack. It's a belief that someone can do better. When you love people, you don't let them settle. You challenge them to rise. You call out lies. You don't pretend dysfunction is freedom. Telling someone the truth, even when it stings, is a gift. Because you believe in their potential more than they believe in their excuses. Number 3. Replace sympathy with strategy. Sympathy is good, but it's not enough. We've had enough tears, thoughts, and prayers. It's time to stop crying. Don't just tell folks, you're not alone. Tell them, here's your next step. Solutions over slogans. Tools over tears. You have to make a choice. Will I be a victim of my circumstances? Or a victor over them? Because power doesn't come from complaining. It comes from owning your story and writing the next chapter yourself.
Simple real-world solutions. Number 1. Highlight accountability. Elevate the voices and stories of those who've overcome hardship. Use social media, local events, and schools to promote builders, not blamers. Number 2. Teach emotional resilience and critical thinking early. In youth programs, schools, and homes, help kids recognize the difference between real injustice and poor choices. Teach problem solving, coping strategies, and personal responsibility from a young age. Number 3. Shift attention away from a blame game. Don't reward pity without purpose. When someone speaks from pain, follow the question, what are you doing with that pain? Let empathy lead to empowerment, not stagnation. Number 4. Build forward-focused conversations. In every community setting, train the habit of asking, what can we control? What's the next step? Who's ready to act? Normalize taking action, not just airing grievances. Blame doesn't rebuild broken homes, fix broken systems, or heal broken people. Accountability does. If we want to raise a stronger generation, we must start applauding responsibility louder than we applaud resentment.